Today, we are diving into something that feels like straight-up magic. How does AI know the answer to pretty much anything you ask it? Well, here's the twist. It doesn't, and understanding why is where it gets really, really interesting. I'm sure you've seen this. You throw a question into a chatbot, and boom! Before you can even take a breath, there it is. A perfect, complete answer. It feels way too fast to be real.
You can ask it to help you with some super complex code.
Or to break down some obscure moment in history.
Heck, you can even ask it for relationship advice. It seems like there's literally nothing it can't talk about.
And because it's so fast and covers so much ground, it is so easy to just assume that the AI knows all this stuff. You know, like it's some kind of giant thinking brain. But that's not what's happening. Not even close. So if it doesn't actually know anything, how on earth can it answer so convincingly? Well, that's the puzzle we are going to solve today.
Okay, so first things first, let's pull back the curtain on this so-called illusion of knowing. What's actually going on behind the scenes?
An AI doesn't know things the way you and I do. It doesn't have memories, it doesn't have feelings or life experiences to draw from, and it definitely doesn't have a conscious mind that's, thinking about things.
So what is its secret? It all comes down to one thing. It is an unbelievable pattern recognition machine. And the scale it works on is just massive. Almost impossible to wrap your head around.
To really get a handle on this, let's use an analogy. Let's think of an AI model as a kind of super student.
And here's where that scale comes in. A human student, even a great one, might study, 5 or 10 books for a huge exam? An AI model, on the other hand, has been trained on a giant chunk of the internet. We're talking millions of books, articles, websites, forums, everything.
This whole training process has a name: machine learning. And here's the crucial part. The goal isn't to memorize facts like you would for a test. The goal is to analyze all of that human knowledge, to find the connections, the rules, and the patterns hidden inside our language.
So if it's not pulling from memory, how does it build an answer from scratch? Well, it all comes down to one surprisingly simple idea: just predicting the next word.
You actually see a simpler version of this every day. It's just like the autocomplete on your phone. You type, "Hey, I'm running," and your phone suggests late because, based on tons of data, that's the most probable word to come next. AI is doing the exact same thing, just on an incredibly sophisticated level. So let's walk through it. You give it a prompt like, "The first person on the moon was." Based on all the patterns it's learned, it runs the numbers and calculates the most statistically likely word to follow. In this case, Neil. Then it does it again. It looks at the new phrase, "The first person on the moon was Neil," and calculates the next most probable word, and that would be Armstrong. It builds the entire answer one probable word at a time. And this is the big takeaway. The AI is not digging into a memory file to find a fact. It is generating, word by word, the sequence that has the highest mathematical probability of being the correct answer to your question.
Okay, that makes sense. But it raises a new question, right? If it's just playing a game of probability, why does it sound so darn confident all the time? So authoritative?
Well, there are basically 3 reasons for this. First, scale. Because it's trained on so much data, its predictions are usually very, very good. Second, speed. It does all this complex calculation in milliseconds, so there's no hesitation. And finally, it's design. It's literally programmed to give you a clear, direct answer, not to say, I'm not sure.
And this is maybe the most important thing to remember, that confidence is a feature, not a feeling. Which means it can sound just as sure of itself when it's completely wrong, when it's hallucinating, as when it's giving you a perfect fact.
So after all that, what's the big idea we should all walk away with?
Here's the best way to think about it. AI is an incredibly sophisticated tool for matching patterns and predicting what comes next. It is an amazing and powerful technology, but it is not a perfect source of truth. It's a predictor, not an oracle. So, to sum it all up, AI learns from an insane amount of data. It uses that to recognize incredibly complex patterns, and then it uses those patterns to predict answers with stunning accuracy. That's the real magic behind the curtain. So I'll leave you with a final thought to chew on. Now that you know that AI isn't a know-it-all, but a world-class pattern matcher and predictor, how is that going to change the way you use it and the way you trust it?